To bring in the California Congressman Adam Schiff. He's the chair of the House Intelligence Committee. Congressman, thanks so much for joining us. Let's pick up where our just left off. As you know, the General Services Administration has refused to formalize this presidential transition. Your House colleagues have now requested the GSA Administrator Emily Murphy to brief them about this decision and to do so by Monday. Do you think she'll comply with that request?
Wolf, I really don't know. She should. In fact, she should make the ascertainment immediately. This is nothing but a political delay to the detriment of the country. But if necessary, the committee is, I think, prepared to subpoena and compel her to come in. But I would hope that wouldn't be necessary still. If that's what's required to get this process moving during the middle of a pandemic, we will do everything that we can in the House to make it happen.
But do you fear if she is subpoenaed, let's say, Congressman, do you think the White House will try to block her from complying with that subpoena?
Well, they, as you know, have a long history of stonewalling Congress throughout this administration. So you could certainly anticipate that they might. But nonetheless, it will, I think, add to the pressure to resolve this issue. There isn't any doubt about who won the election. Joe Biden won it by 6 million votes and by a hefty number in the Electoral College, something that Donald Trump called a landslide 4 years ago. So this is just nothing but a political that is risking American lives. And the GSA administrator needs to stop towing Trump's line and do the right thing here.
Yeah, because it's almost 3 weeks since the election. It's exactly 2 weeks since almost all of the major news organizations, let me repeat that, all the major news organizations projected that Joe Biden is the winner. No significant examples of election fraud have been found, Congressman. Even Trump insiders have admitted this whole legal push is a real long shot. In your mind, is the president, though, guilty right now of not complying? Because some of his critics have actually suggested he could be guilty of what's called sedition.
Well, he's certainly once again abusing the power of his office. This, too, is a long pattern of the presidency. For any other president, it would be unthinkable that after losing an election, they would be calling state legislators and trying to get them to overturn the results, ignore the popular vote, or they would have their deputies like Lindsey Graham calling secretaries of state in places like Georgia and asking whether they're in a position to effectively throw out thousands of ballots. But that's the kind of abuse of power we've come to expect from Donald Trump. I don't imagine that there's anything at this late stage that can be done about that. It will not be successful, but it is delaying the transition at great cost.
The president early this morning did briefly attend a virtual G20 meeting, but he then very quickly skipped the G20 coronavirus session, opting instead to go play golf in suburban Northern Virginia outside of Washington, D.C. at his club. As this pandemic worsens here in the United States, clearly the president decided it was okay to go play golf this weekend, last weekend, the weekend before. What's your reaction to that?
Well, it's absolutely shameful. When you think about it, however long Donald Trump was on the golf course, you can calculate the number of Americans who died while he was out there, driving from the tee and chipping onto the green. There were Americans dying all the time. We're losing Americans at 1,000 to 2,000 a day. So that's hundreds while he's out on the golf course. And the fact that leaders of the world are gathering in a summit to try to figure out how globally we can confront this virus. And he's out there, chipping from the sand trap. I mean, it's just appalling. And of course, the hypocrisy also grabs you by the throat. After all, this is a president who attacked Barack Obama for playing golf, who played an awful lot less than what we see with Donald Trump, and certainly wasn't out there in the middle of a pandemic.
Your state of California, as you well know, saw a record spike in COVID cases today. When it comes to distributing a vaccine, and all of us are hoping that the vaccine will be available safely, smoothly, very soon, is this delayed transition process going on from the outgoing administration to the incoming administration going to wind up costing lives because the Trump administration is refusing to allow their coronavirus experts to even brief the incoming coronavirus experts?
You know, it certainly could, and that's the fear that the president-elect has, that this delayed transition will make it more difficult, more time-consuming for his team to come to speed and implement a vaccine distribution nationwide. If there's any prospect of that happening, that's yet another reason to get on with it already. You know, this GSA administrator, she has to realize there are lives at stake, and the lives of those Americans have a much greater call on her to do her duty than the fact that she was appointed by Donald Trump and wants to stay in the good graces of Donald Trump. You know, the courts are speaking out in the most disparaging terms about these bogus legal arguments. Everyone understands exactly what's going on here, and to pretend otherwise is just shameful because there is that real risk, Wolf, that this delay costs even more lives. The Biden team should be fully up to speed on, you know, how the military logistics are planning the distribution. They need to make sure that they're in alignment with where the priorities are so that they're synced up. If the new administration has to take another look and maybe make changes in terms of the priorities and the vaccine distribution, well, then that is going to cause delays. So this needs to happen, and it needs to happen now.
I'll ask you a final question, Congressman, before I let you go. A question I asked you the other day as well. Any progress, any developments in the possibility you might be taking a position in the new incoming administration?
You know, I'll have to give you the same answer I gave you before, which is I don't have anything to comment about that. But I know that the president-elect has a lot of great folks to choose from. And judging from the staffing decisions he's already made, the country is going to be in very good shape.
Very diplomatic answer indeed. Congressman Adam Schiff, the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, good luck to you. Stay safe out there. Thanks so much for joining us.
Happy Thanksgiving, Wolf.
Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.